Good morning to everybody that's tuning in. This is our high noon with the Evergreen Chamber. Thank you so much for all your support. We have a really great program today. 'Tis the season of giving and helping those in need. And we have three really great organizations that are going to be here talking to you a little bit about some of the things that they do, how we as a community can help support some of these causes, and tell us a little bit about, what's to come for 2021, how 2020's kind of been, and just what we can all do to help and reach those that might need help. Today we have Chris Krager with the Samaritan House. We have Rochelle from the Ray of Hope, and we also have Major Larry Feist, and he's going to be here talking a little bit about what he does. So first of all, we're going to have Chris Krager talk a little bit about the Samaritan House. Here's a little bit about Chris. Chris is the executive director of the Samaritan House, a homeless shelter and transitional living program here in Kalispell for the last 18 years. During this time, Chris has worked to provide solutions to the very complex issue of homelessness in the Flathead Valley. He works with the Montana Continuum of Care for Homelessness, helping to guide and refine the process in which Montana's homeless services. He has been a speaker for the Homeless and Housing Resource Network, helping states with rural and frontier homelessness address the very difficult scenario. In the past, Chris has worked as a board member for Flathead County Community Health Center, Glacier Affordable Housing Foundation, the Housing Affordability Ladder, and many other nonprofit organizations. He's a big cheerleader for the underdog. Personally, he's married to Carrie, a farmer's daughter from Cut Bank. Her family still operates the family farm and was originally homesteaded by her great-grandfather. They have 2 grown children and Leroy, an awesome German Shepherd that just loves kale. My dog personally spits it out. Some other things he really likes to do includes Montana and its music while working as a musician for Mike Murray, Rob Quist, and other artists. So we're very excited to have him here and going to talk a little bit about what he does. So come on up.
Yay, that was a pretty long-winded introduction. Thanks for having me. So Samaritan House is a local homeless shelter. Thank you, Snappies and BJ, for hosting today. And thank you, Evergreen Chamber of Commerce, for putting this together. Samaritan House is a local homeless shelter and transitional housing program. And we also have some super affordable apartments, case management staff, kitchen, cafeteria, and 3 meals a day, that kind of scenario. We serve about 190 to 105 people on the campus every night, depending on how many children are in the families. And we do about 1,400 people a year we're able to serve. And kitchen and cafeteria, we did last year 38,642 meals, which is not a lot of meals, but we're able to do it in a community collaborative sort of way. Everybody volunteering, donating, pitching in. And so we were able to serve 38,000 meals on a budget of about $9,000 last year. So that's a good example of how we make it work. It's very, very lean and efficient financially so that we can serve clients, and that's our focus. So there's all kinds of philosophies about dealing with homelessness. There are some great programs in town, and you're going to hear about them. And there are also other programs that are not represented today. The Warming Center and other folks lots of folks that help with homelessness. At Samaritan House, our philosophy is let's get a case manager involved and let's fix it. So we set some goals, some hard goals every year at the start of the year to have a large percentage of the clients not be homeless any longer when they're done at Samaritan House. I feel like it has a more lasting impact and it's a better investment for people's donated dollars. And so last year at Samaritan House, 85% of the clients were no longer homeless when they leave the campus. Compared to the average program with a case management element nationwide is showing about a 71% success rate. So, so that's kind of the focus. It's all about life skills, topics, budgeting, sort of case management interaction. The Flathead Valley, as we were talking earlier, has a lot of employment scenarios. And so we were really blessed that everybody employable usually gets a job real quick if they don't have one already. So that's really helpful. So that's what we're up to there. And it's a good place. Dinner's at 6, swing by if you're in the neighborhood. And we're just working to try to fix it. And so thank you for your time.
Can you tell us a little bit about how 2020 has gone so far?
Ooh, 2020. I think I went into it naive. I had all the best, most inspirational speeches going into January, and it quickly taught me a lesson. And so we did, along with Major Larry and Salvation Army and a bunch of other organizations, we did a temporary COVID shelter during February, March, April for the shelter in place, the phase 1. That was a completely brand new, sprung up additional shelter. And it was completely unexpected, but we were able to do it in a collaborative sort of way. Ongoing, the virus and the pandemic is still a factor. Just with controls, we have a cafeteria, we have 90 people, 100 people on one small little campus. So social distancing is a consideration. Meal times are in shifts. Can't have too many people in one room at the same time. And just all our cleaning. We clean the light switches so often that at one point, one of the light switches shorted out because it had been sprayed so much with cleaner. So we had to teach everybody spray the rag and then disinfect so we don't burn the place down. But so yeah, it's been completely unexpected. A lot of additional layers of responsibility in regards to virus.
What can we do? What are some of the biggest needs right now that we can do for the community?
The question was, what are some of the biggest needs right now at Samaritan House? And so in addition to, virus controls and all, now it's getting cold at night. And so as you'll hear, the nature of homelessness in Montana is that at certain parts of the year, it can be fatal. So we're trying to make sure everybody's geared up for it. We have a grant from a clothing company. So we have thousands of brand new coats we're trying to give out. But other things like warm boots, hats, gloves, winter gear for guys working outside. That's an ongoing need this time of year, trying to make sure everybody's geared up appropriately. And then also another need, of course, always is money, that's how we operate on donations. But another need is if you see or hear somebody outside or looks or appears to be staying outside, let us know. We can send an outreach worker or myself and we can get in touch and make sure they know where to go and kind of see what the scenario is. So that's a need. If you know of somebody staying outside, we don't want that.
That's good to know. People know that. I didn't know that, so that's great. How about some people want to remain anonymous or they're worried about trying to ask for help or don't know how. How do you reach those people?
Yeah, it's touchy when outreaching somebody. Sometimes if it's a female, I'll send a female staff person that will have a better connection, and just trying to accommodate in any way. I mean, it's interesting. You make programs and you have black and white rules. We're talking about people, and humans are good at finding layers of complexities, and so we try to address it. Sometimes it takes a little more time than the average conversation. but in doing that, you'll have a success. So we're willing to do that.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
We might come back to you
Okay.
here in a little bit.
You bet.
With
Thank
some
you.
Questions. All right. Thanks so much, Chris. Next up, we're going to have Rochelle from Ray of Hope. Rochelle is from Missoula and has lived in Kalispell for about 4 years. She has a background in nursing and spent 14 years working and managing group homes for developmentally disabled adults. That she's got 2 awesome children, Noah, who is 8, and Riley, who is 13, and recently is married for the last couple of years. She's worked at a Ray of Hope, managing Peggy's house for 2.5 years. So Rochelle, come on up. Be out of the picture, but close.
Okay.
So Rochelle, tell us a little bit about a Ray of Hope.
Okay, so I think people hear about the Abbey Shelter a lot and Samaritan House, but sometimes a Ray of Hope isn't always heard about. So we're a homeless shelter, transitional living too, that has a men's shelter. We just recently opened in the last 2.5 years our women's and children's shelter. We don't have any term limits on how long people can stay. It's more of a goal-oriented program. As long as you're working towards a goal, towards recovery, looking for work, things of that nature, you can continue to stay until you can transition out. We also have Hembo, which is off the grid living for people coming off drugs and alcohol. And then we have Hope Thrift, our thrift store. So yeah.
Awesome. Could you go in a little more depth of some of the services and resources that you provide?
So we're a place for people that are in need of reprieve to come off the streets. We're a place for people coming off drugs and alcohol in need of sober living. We're a place for people to transition from jail or prison, place for people to get their children back from CPS, place to get food or food boxes, to get a gas card, assistance with rent, gas vouchers, help with utilities. Basically, I say just come and apply and ask. If there's anything I can do to help you, I will. If I can't, I'll try to connect you with the proper resources in order to do that. But yeah, come in and apply for anything and I'll do my best.
How do you help those that may not know where to go for help? How do you reach out to those people?
I think through word of mouth, community support, our newsletter, we get the word out. If we see people on the streets, we do outreach. I know when COVID happened, we opened our doors the best we could. We packed cold lunches and went out to tent camps and went out, and just because there wasn't a place for people to congregate. So we went out and tried to help as much as we could and spread the word. We opened our doors and had hot meals. Just trying to help people however we can. Just treating people with dignity. It's hard to ask for help. So yeah, we just go out there and we spread the word if we can and just open our doors.
What is something that us as a community can do? Some of the same kind of questions. What are some of the needs currently and maybe specific to a Ray of Hope?
Always in need of donations. Like Chris said, warm clothing, blankets, sleeping bags, tents in case we have to turn people away. Our shelters have been full since COVID happened. Monetary donations. And then just community awareness, spreading the word, letting people know we're there. I hear so many times people are like, oh, we have a women's and children's shelter. And I'm like, yeah, we've been here 2.5 years. So just getting the word out and letting people know that we're there and we're available and we're here to help.
Do you aid people into getting into, work with some of the community programs to get them into homes on their own?
Yep, we link with CAP. Through any other resources out there. The Heart Locker, we network with every nonprofit we can, and we'll help them financially too, if we need to, if there's not a nonprofit we can connect with.
I know you kind of mentioned that since COVID happened, you've been pretty full. What else have you kind of seen through 2020?
So we quarantined twice. So that was fun, our first ever quarantine. Also done a lot more outreach, just trying to help where we can, when we can. So just a lot more outreach, and then a lot more of turning people away and just trying to find other resources for them. we have a box outside of our men's shelter that we stock with warm clothing, boots, blankets, sleeping bags, and literally that gets hit up twice a day, and it's been empty. We've had a lack of just warm clothing for people at our thrift store, men's boots and stuff. They're just literally giving it all away and not having enough resources for people. So yeah, this community is in dire need of assistance for the homeless.
How about in the last few years of being at the organization, what's one of your most memorable, maybe heartwarming experiences that you could share?
Well, Christmas is my favorite time of year. So we do our Adopt a Family program, which we just launched, and we partner families in need with people that want to adopt them for Christmas. We make sure all the children have Christmas presents under the tree and that the family has a Christmas dinner. The people that adopt them get a photo of the family, they get a story about the family, why they need help this Christmas or how being adopted would bless them. They get letters to Santa from the children. So it's just a blessing all around that we get to facilitate this program. So Peggy started it 17 years ago and we still continue it. So yeah.
All right. Anything, what do you think about 2021? What do you foresee coming?
Oh, I just hope that we can do more. You know, it just always feels like there's never enough, and I just want to do more. So however we can do that, if we can just partner together as a community and just try to come together.
That's wonderful. Awesome.
Thank you
so much. All right, up next, we have Major Larry. Major Larry was born in Great Falls, Montana. He was commissioned as a Salvation Army officer in 1991 with the Servants of Jesus session. He served as a single officer in Sun City and Tucson, Arizona, in Kihei and South Maui, a couple of my favorite places, Hawaii, in San Diego and Napa, California, before meeting and marrying his wife, Julie, in 2003. He served Long Beach, California, while his wife attended the college for officer training from 2004 to 2006. They both have served together in Lake Havasu City, Arizona for 8 years, in Oroville, California for 5 years, and a short stint in Longview, Washington, before heading to Kalispell and working to head up the Salvation Army here. In 2011, they both graduated with honors with bachelor's degrees in leadership and ethics from Nazarene Bible College. They're both very excited to be a part of the Flathead and being able to serve with the Salvation Army to help others, especially the most vulnerable in our community. And especially with the help of us in the community and the support of all the generous people that we do have here. So welcome very much, Major Larry, Salvation Army.
It is good to be here to share what we at the Salvation Army do. Right now, I'm supposed to look at the computer. These Zoom meetings, hi all you on the Zoom call. We appreciate you being with us. At the Salvation Army, we have different programs for different people. We have a meal program where we serve breakfast at 8:30 to 9:30. We have lunch from 12 to 1, Monday through Friday. And we have a shower program and we have a laundry program. Now, because of COVID, the meals are to go, served to go. And when someone comes in for a shower or do laundry, they're allowed to come in one at a time to whatever service they're doing. And in between people, we have to sanitize both the shower and the laundry facility. We follow the guidelines that the CDC has given us to sanitize. We have grocery bags to give out to people. And then we also have a bag that we give out for homeless people where they have the like pop-top cans and snacky stuff where it's easier for them to just be able to open it up and eat it and go from there. This time of year, we are helping families with an Adopt a Family program and Adopt an Angel. And anybody who would like to apply can apply saangeltree.org. Or if somebody wants to choose an angel, they can go to Salvation Army, Kalispell Salvation Army, all one word, .org, and click Meet the Most Need. How can the community help us? Well, one of the things, because it is getting a little chillier here now, obviously gloves and hats for the homeless people, also toiletries for when people come in to take a shower, or laundry soap to do laundry for the laundry program. And like everybody else, money goes a long way. Monetary gifts are always accepted. How do we let people know about us? There's something about the Salvation Army everybody knows to come for help. We don't have to go looking for people. They find us. But there are people that will refer people to us. And one of the things that I really believe is that when somebody calls me and asks me for help, if I'm not able to give it to them, I really try and network with other people from the community to say, this is where you can go to get help for your particular need. The way we get our word out is through the radio, through the TV, through the paper, and obviously with word of mouth. One of my most memorable moments of Kalispell. Now, my wife and I have only been here since April, and we moved here in the middle of this pandemic. Not something I would recommend, but it was one of the greatest things for us because we immediately had to become involved in the community. As Chris from the Samaritan House said, we got involved with the shelter, where we provided the meals for the shelter, for the people sheltering in place. And a lot of good things have happened with that. My most memorable moment happened about a week ago. Captain Julie and I and a helper were distributing food. And we had pastries and pies and cookies and things like that. And one of the people came up, and it was on Thanksgiving Day. And he says, could I have a pie to take to family dinner? I've never been able to contribute to the family dinner. And we said, well, if you want 3 or 4 pies, you may take 3 or 4 pies. And so he ended up taking a couple of pies and some dinner rolls. And he felt proud that he could finally contribute to the family dinner. So that is one of my most memorable. Let's see. I think I covered it all.
Oh, wonderful. How about 2021? What do you think about?
It has to be better than 2020. As we look for the future, we look to how we can better serve our community. We want to meet people where they're at and not leave them where they're at, bring them to another place. And if we can't help them, we want to direct them in where they can get the help they need.
So I'm going to ask you this question first.
Uh-oh.
We reached out, please. We reached out to a lot of the chamber members to see if they had some questions that they would like asked of the panel. And one we got was, as a community member, does it help if we were to give resource bags to homeless we see asking for help around town? Or would we be directing people away from your resources? Bags could consist of gloves, hats, hand warmers, granola bars. If it's a good idea, what would you recommend to be put into the resource bags?
Wow. And I get to answer that question. I think giving something like that could be beneficial. I am not one who would like to see people give money out, because generally when you're giving money out, you're helping them do something that you might not want that to see done. I think if you give them, I think it's somewhat of a good idea, but on the other side of the coin, if you give it to organizations that already do it, they're already doing that. You're not duplicating the service. And so therefore it might be helpful to team up with the Samaritan House, with Ray of Hope, with us, who already are doing that, and direct people towards us.
Yeah.
Or different organizations, not just the 3. There are many good organizations that do that.
Let's see if we have any questions from the audience. Anybody?
Please, I'd like to get input from Chris, if I could. I'm really naive and uninformed about the homeless and the motivation for the emotional attitude component behind it, Chris. And I'm guessing that you have lots of insight as to what makes some of these folks tick. My impression is that some folks have just given up.
Yeah.
And sometimes they want about work ethic and their attitude and why they don't get out and do a job. And I think maybe all of us wonder about that. And if you have any encouragement or insight about the emotional component of some of these folks that are struggling through life.
Yeah. So the question is about sort of what created the homeless situation, the emotional component, the leading up events, and the thought process. Good question. We see, and I'm sure that Larry and Rochelle would agree, still after being involved in working in homelessness for years, I'm still seeing people come in with a life story that I've never heard something similar before. Always brand new scenarios. Some of them are heartbreaking, and some of them are not. But I think that it is a multi-layered scenario, because you have somebody that for some reason has come to zero momentum and needs to generate momentum again, employment, a place to live, first month's rent, security deposit, utility deposits, a way to get around, transportation and wheels, and usually that comes with car maintenance, and so there's momentum that needs to be reestablished. And having just gone through what could be most predictably considered the biggest crisis in their life to create the situation in the first place. So it's interesting. We see at the shelter, and I'm sure you guys would agree, like say, for instance, a single mom, 2 kids, financial difficulties, a recently failed relationship, kids with anxiety because what's going on. And so you see the scenario and it comes in multi-layered like that. And there is a timeline to it. Day 1 is tough. And they say the first night is the hardest. And then the next day they're like, hey, this place is okay. It's gonna be all right. I feel safe. And then day 2 and 3 brings answers to some variables that were unknowns, enrolling in school or a job or something. And we see some smiles and a little more eye contact. And then by the first week or 2, then they're like, yes, I'm gonna do this. It's gonna be great. And then, our average length of stay is pushing 3 months. But when they drive out the driveway at the last day, it's hopefully a success. And we've helped connect with Salvation Army and Array of Hope and people that could help. And we see a little momentum that way. So it's a challenge. It wouldn't initially be considered such a major challenge until you just sit down and really consider it financially and emotionally, what's all going on. It can be a devastating situation. So,
do you see a lot of people that have lost jobs? Is that kind of one of the biggest causes?
Sometimes, and I think about a third of our clientele are on some sort of fixed income, a disability or something like that, which means your monthly income is smaller. So your success margin for finding a place that you can afford, and it's a thinner margin of success or error. So at that point, we're helping the person apply for everything. And we do have a list of the apartments in town that we know as being more affordable. So we help there as well. But yeah, it's a challenge for sure.
Mental health is obviously a huge part of the homeless community. So what do you do to work with that? Do you have somebody on staff that does that, or?
We don't have an official mental health degreed component on our staff, but our staff have been around it long enough to know, hey, this guy's talking about radio waves. He's probably developing a schizophrenia and needs to go to the hospital to get his medication. So yeah, that's a big part of it. And mental health data is hard to get as far as homelessness because there's a certain amount of denial rate in you know, sometimes the medications, people don't like how it makes them feel. So they stay mobile to try not to be mandated medication. So there's a miserable limbo land where you're not good enough with your mental health scenario to maintain your own medications to take care of it, but you're not bad enough to be mandated some mental health care. So there's that miserable between. And so a lot of folks are in that position where they're dealing with trying to figure out how to equilibrium this thing out. Yeah.
Any other questions or?
I have one for maybe Larry. Could you explain during this season how you're dealing with the bell ringing?
Yes.
Online.
Yep, bell ringing question.
The bell ringing question. COVID. Our main goal in this Christmas season is to protect people. I don't know if you see the numbers like I see them, but they keep going up and it just increases. So the thought of doing a virtual kettle came, and over the course of time, the health department talked with us. They made a recommendation to us not to do physical kettles because of the contact with people. And we don't want to see somebody get COVID. We don't want somebody to have it and pass it on. The other side of that is the guidelines. It wasn't a store here, but to keep up with the kettle, to disinfect it, to do all the protocols, I don't think we're acceptable. You know, if you're paying somebody, now, I understand here there's a lot of volunteerism, but there were some paid people. And I don't pay somebody to be spending most of their time doing that. I want them talking to people and making sure money goes in the bucket. So we have gone to virtual kettles, and it seems to be going well. I think now that Thanksgiving rather is over, it's going to pick up, and we're excited about it. If you want to donate to the online kettle, you can go to Kalispellredkettle.org, and you can donate to, we have a bunch of different people or organizations that have their own kettle, and you can select any one of them. Or if you want to start your own kettle and send it out to everybody, all your friends and family, and that you can have your own kettle and do it that way. It seems to be going well. This is a new experience, and so we're excited about it. But again, it came back down to we want to protect people and make sure everybody's safe. Did I answer that?
And Evergreen Chamber of Commerce is part.
Yes, Evergreen Chamber of Commerce is part of that. And I know in Evergreen, there are 4 stores that you can go and donate, and it's all going to go into the Evergreen Chamber of Commerce, correct?
Correct.
And so, you can go online and go to the Evergreen Chamber of Commerce and donate there. It's very simple. You choose the amount they suggest, or if you want to give a different amount, you click, it asks you for the information. You can do it anonymously. And then you give your information so you get a receipt. So there you go. Thank you.
I think now with COVID, everybody's kind of getting used to doing most of everything online at this point. So it should be a easy thing to go do. I have a question for Rochelle. As a parent with a couple of kids that I think should be learning a lot about service to others and donating, and just seeing really what life could be like if you happen to be in that situation. What do you think is the best way for young kids to help with some of these, with the organization? Come up.
We've had other mothers like you that wanted to come in and have them serve at our shelter. So we've had them come in and help prepare meals. We've had them come in and wrap presents for Christmas. We've had them come in and put in hours at our thrift store, shovel snow, anything. If they want to just come and see what a shelter is like, but if they want to come in and put in hours, we'll utilize them. So yeah, we'd be more than happy to.
All right, any other questions? We do have a live audience. We always do really good social distancing. This week's sponsor was TJ Went, and he provided a nice little lunch for everybody here. So we greatly appreciate the support that he gives the Evergreen Chamber. We absolutely love that we're still able to have some audience here, so you don't feel like you're talking to a wall all the time. And all the participation we absolutely love. These organizations are absolutely wonderful. You can find them all online and can learn more about the history and what other things that they may do we might not have discussed. I don't know if we have any other additional questions from any. Oh, we have one more.
I just wanted to make a comment
Oh, yeah.
about Peggy's house. Can they hear me from here?
Probably not. Come on up.
Come closer. Okay.
We have Joy with a comment, so we're
Yes.
gonna have her step up.
I just want to make a comment. I've stopped at the Ray of Hope at the Peggy's house quite a few times randomly, sometimes to drop something off or pick somebody up or whatever it is. And I want to let everybody know that it is a very peaceful and clean atmosphere. And it doesn't at all feel like a homeless shelter, not one single bit. They've got the living room and the kitchen. They've got everything all set up so beautifully. And I really want to recognize Rochelle for the good job that she's doing there. And I really admire her because she knows how to keep her boundaries so that she's able to take enough breaks so that she's able to be there for the people when they need her. And I think she's doing an amazing, amazing job. And I'm just so proud of her.
All right. Well, we're proud of all the organizations here as well. I certainly am looking forward to, I have a few things that we're going to do this year. So hopefully, you know, the season of giving, give a little bit of time. Financially, obviously, always, but everybody could use your help. And with 2020 being a little bit wild and crazy, and we're all in the ride together. So we just want to thank you again, Rochelle, Chris, Major Larry, again, TJ Went, and all the support from the Evergreen Chamber members. So thank you so much. You'll be able to catch this. We've recorded it. You'll be able to catch it on the Evergreen Chamber website, on Facebook. Share it with all your friends so they can see all the wonderful things the Flathead community does, especially the Evergreen community. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.